This morning on KLMJ, we'd like to welcome Mark Miller of Sawyer Brown. Mark, how's it going?
It's going great, Mike. How are you?
Fantastic. It's great to have you guys back on the charts. We're going to talk about a brand new CD just released, but it's been, close about 30 years you've been out there now?
It's been exactly 30 years.
Does it seem like it's been that long?
Sometimes it does. Sometimes it seems like it's like when you go back and look at the earlier albums, you remember stuff, it seems like another lifetime. And then sometimes it just seems like you just blinked, like Kenny Chesney's songs. So that's the way it goes. But you just kind of keep your head down and making music and touring and doing what you do and being blessed and then all of a sudden you look up and it is 30 years later.
It's the 23rd CD you just released right now. We want to talk about that. But first, let's talk about a song that did really well for you called Smokin' Hot Wife. How did that song come about?
Well, I kind of have the blueprint for it, because I've got the kids, I've got the truck, I play in a band, the lyrics of the song, and then the hook line is I got the smoking hot wife. So. But it was also just the thought process was almost like the sequel to Some Girls Do. Some Girls Do is like when you're finding the girl, and then Smoking Hot Wife is after you marry her.
And the CD that just came out, we want to talk about that, called Traveling Band. What a great CD, and I know it's been a long time since you released a CD. Was there a reason why it took so long?
Well, I actually started another venture. I have a Christian record label, and I signed a band called Casting Crowns, and I produce all their records, and they've become quite successful, very, very popular, and that's taken up a lot of time. We continue to tour. I just kind of took a break from recording, and also I produce Bucky Covington, and I've done a couple movie scores. So I've been pretty busy. We really just took the time. We said we need to do another Sawyer Brown album, and so this is the result.
I see a quote here that you said you've been working on this so long that they still called them albums back then.
Yeah. It seems that long.
Now, a lot of great help with the writing. You had some great writers on this CD. Why don't you talk about that?
Well, Hobie and I wrote a couple of the songs. I wrote several of them by myself, but Tom Douglas is actually my next door neighbor, and Tom has been writer of the years, several years in a row now, and he's kind of hot, and it's good to have a guy like that you can say call over and walk next door and grab a song. And Jeffrey Steele, I think, is one of the writers on this, and Jeffrey's been really successful, and these are guys that I've also actually known for years. So when we put the word out that we were doing it, we felt like we got some really good songs, and Paul Davis, we did a remake of Paul Davis's Cool Nights on the album. Paul passed away a couple years ago, and I just kind of wanted to do a tribute because he was a friend, and also I was a big fan.
The CD is fantastic. I had a chance to listen to it, and a song that kind of just sticks out, it says Sawyer Brown, is Traveling Band. Why don't you talk about that one?
Well, Traveling Band, because I knew of the timing on this, our 30-year anniversary, and we've been recording for 26 years now, I wanted to write something that would encompass the entire 30 years that we've been together. And Traveling Band is just a musical autobiography of us and the path that we took and where it led us.
And talking about Traveling Band, you've done a lot of traveling over the years. In fact, all the United States, as well as Europe, Asia, and China. Now, how is that going to the other countries?
It was really unique. Some of the trips were USO tours, and you're playing for the troops. When we went to China, we played for an all-Chinese audience who didn't speak English, but they had never heard American music before at the places that we were playing. So it was really pretty rewarding. It was awkward at the beginning because they didn't know to applaud after a song would end, and they were so polite. It would literally, the song would end and everyone would just be sitting there. And we actually, after the first show, we kind of planted some people out there to kind of show them what to do and respond. And then we toured Japan with Kenny Rogers back in the day that Kenny, in the mid-'80s on the islands in the Stream Tour with he and Dolly. And we played like the Budokan and these places. Most of the Japanese speak English, so they recognize the songs.
With the CD, I know it is available on your website. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, it's available on the website, and it's also within hours going to be on iTunes and Rhapsody and all of the download outlets. So it was supposed to be on this morning, but we just checked, and they said it will be on, hopefully within 48 hours. It'll be on all of those outlets as well.
Now, Mark, we talked about a lot of touring. Do you still enjoy the road shows?
I enjoy the shows. To be honest, I don't enjoy the time it takes to get there. I don't enjoy that as much. We have, though, recently started to do more sightseeing than we used to. Didn't take time to do that, but we do more of that now, and that helps some of the traveling more, actually.
Well, while we're at it, Mark, why don't you talk about all the members of the band? You talked about you and Hobie, but why don't you talk about the other members, too?
Well, Hobie is our keyboard player, and he and I have known each other since the 8th grade. And Jim, our bass player, is from Midland, Michigan. And Joe, our drummer, is from Westbrook, Maine. And Shane, our guitar player, is from Spearfish. So and Shane is the four of us are original, and then Shane would be the newest member. He's been with the band for about 7 years now.
All right. Another thing that's really exciting, you've teamed up with a Farm Boy and Farm Girl. Why don't you talk about how did that all come about?
Well, we were actually playing the Minnesota State Fair, and I saw that they were just the coolest shirts, and it kind of hit close to me because I grew up on a farm, and my brother and I raised cattle, and our merchandise guy went over and was talking to him, and just the conversation led to we were really looking for someone to sponsor and to do a tour with. It was just a perfect fit for us, and they've just been fantastic, and it's just the coolest shirts. My daughter and son and all the friends at college now wear all the shirts and stuff. So it's a really, really cool product.
Well, I know we like the shirts, too, and really great shirts of Sawyer Brown.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And again, you can go to your website. Why don't you repeat that for everybody to check out?
Okay, yeah, that's SawyerBrown.com is the website, and the album's there, and they can also pick it up on iTunes and Rhapsody.
All right, Mark, great talking to you, and wish you the best with this new CD.
Thank you, pal.
Mark Miller right here on KLMJ.